it's Flo, and this is my impression of a politician. I believe in the people, and their cars, and Progressive, and the fact that you, yes, you can plug in Snapshot to save even more money for being a good driver. I also believe in Sasquatch, but more as a joke, but also kind of seriously.
Safe drivers save with Snapshot from Progressive.
I approve of this message, and Sasquatch, if you are real, you can totally be my running mate.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Snapshot not available in all states.
Blog Talk Radio.
Under the Mat Radio. This is your host, Tech, with co-host
NSC Game Boy. What it is, what it do.
And also with lead correspondent
Tim Blade. How's everybody doing?
Doing okay. Doing fine. Everybody, today's episode is titled The King of Old School. Reason being is because momentarily our first guest will be former ECW and former NWA World Heavyweight Champion, King of Old School, Steve Corino. Also will be joining him is his son, the American Tiger, Colby Corino. Of course, as you know, Steve Corino also serves as a commentator for Ring of Honor Wrestling, and his son currently is a star and wrestler for Ring of Honor as well. So we'll have both of those on for the first hour, talking about their respective careers, and, of course, Corino's legendary career with ECW and all over the world in Japan. And sadly, at the top of the hour, 8 p.m., we will be dedicating the final hour of the show to a very special friend of ours and fellow wrestler. You listeners knew him as Prodigy, PTV, but we know him as personally as Reggie Rivers. Sadly, Reggie passed away this Sunday morning by a motorcycle accident that he suffered a few weeks ago while in North Carolina. He slipped into a coma and got called home. So the last album, we will have a lot of representatives of different promotions, friends, fellow workers calling in, sharing their stories and memories of Reggie Rivers, better known as Prodigy. Of course, me, NFC Game Boy, Shin, Saw Team will be calling in as well, tumble our experiences of Reggie. Also, we will have a good old buddy of ours, John Cole, will be calling in as well, who'll be talking about his great achievement of winning a heavyweight title at a fellow promotion and talking about the upcoming event. Also, don't forget, we will be covering EWA, their great event coming up this Saturday. We will be at, of course, Desert Storm will be there. Of course, you know how we feel with him. And, of course, other great action coming up. So, of course, as usual, you can follow the show on Twitter at @tech_UTMR. You can follow NSC Game Boy on Twitter at
NSC Game Boy, spelled correctly.
Yes, and Shimblade, everyone can follow you on Twitter at.
You can follow me at Sensational1.
Yes. And, of course, don't forget, follow us on YouTube at our YouTube page under the Mat Radio. Follow Shimblade and his great shop blogs. Of course, which used to be called our road trips. You'll get to see all the great interviews that we've done with a lot of wrestling legends and current superstars of now and wrestlers from yesteryear. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram under the Mat Radio, all one word. Follow us on Facebook under the Mat Radio group page. As NSC Game Boy says, continue to make the thumbs turn blue. And follow us on our like page as well. But all of that being said, I believe we have our guest bringing it right now, live, the King of Old School himself, Mr. Steve Corino. Welcome, sir, to Under the Mat Radio.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Hey, what's going on?
How you doing?
Doing great. How about you guys?
Doing well. We have you on now. Is Colby on with you, or will he be calling in momentarily?
Oh, I think he's calling in later. We don't live together, so he's on his own. So I think he's calling in at 7:30.
Oh, you kicked him on out, huh?
Nah, he's a man now, so he wanted to get his own place.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with that. Sir, we thank you much for having you on the show, taking time out your busy schedule. We are honored to have a legend like you on our show right now. Thank you for that.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to turn this over now to our correspondent, Shinblade.
Well, Steve Corino, it's been an honor to have you on the show. As a personal note, I really enjoy your work in Ring of Honor, and to say a little mark-out moment, I love it how you get excited, especially when Young Bucks do their super kick party. So
how can you not,
I do have a couple of notes. Excuse me?
Yeah, I said, how can you not get excited?
Oh yeah.
I do.
So I have some liner notes. Steve Corino will be inducting Ring of Honor ring announcer Bobby Cruz into the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame on June 27th. And also, the ceremony will be on Saturday at the Rhode Island Convention Center in Providence, Rhode Island. But earlier, Steven Cruz and I think Kobe's going to be there.
Oh, I'm not sure. I don't know his schedule.
Okay. Well, they'll be signing autographs throughout the New England Fan Fest, and also, Steve, Under the Mat Radio will be at the Fan Fest ourselves.
Oh, nice. I had a great time there.
It was wonderful meeting you in Philadelphia at the War of the Worlds event in night one, and also I did just watch your Global Wars. Afterwards, like I say, it was a great show. We at Under the Mat are fans of Ring of Honor Wrestling. We love wrestling, so we thank you for everything.
Oh well, hey man, it's an easy job when you have some of the best wrestlers in the world performing out there. It makes my job so much easier.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go ahead and turn over to Tech to start the show.
Yes. Is it okay to call you Steve? Or do you want us to call you Mr. Corino, or would you like for
No,
us to
Steve.
call you?
Mr. Corino is my dad.
Okay. We tend to get that a lot. Mr. Corino. Like I said, Steve, thank you for being on. Want to ask you first. Kind of want to go work backwards to talk about you currently before we go into your legendary career. While you are a commentator for Ring of Honor, be honest with us and let us know, how bad is the itch for you to get back in the ring? Do you have a commentator and just wish you were back in the ring, or are you satisfied with just being a commentator?
Oh, my goodness. That's a question that gets asked me a lot, and I can tell you with 1,000%, certainty that when I watch, whether it be AJ Styles or Adam Cole or The Kingdom or Roderick Strong in there, and I see the pace that they're going at and, how great they are in there, I go, you know what, I made the right decision asking for this commentating job because, they're some of the best athletes in the entire world, and, I'm lucky that I have the opportunity to call these matches on a weekly basis for, the Sinclair Broadcasting channels and now Destination America. And it was something that I've been interested in doing for a couple of years now. A lot of people don't realize is when Sinclair Broadcasting bought Ring of Honor back in 2011, the first thing I had asked was to, see if it would be possible to transition into a commentating role. And, I was told by Jim Cornette that they weren't interested at the time. So it was, okay, I'll make sure, keep doing my thing. If something comes up, hopefully I'll be considered for it. And then during during 2012, when I was the ROH World Tag Team Champion with Jimmy Jacobs, I heard internally that, hey, there could be a spot opening up for, a commentator. And I once again inquired, and they said, you know what, if it comes open, we'll give you the audition and see what you can do. And, voila, it came available. Did the audition, and then, got offered the spot. So it's been 2 years now, and I absolutely love it.
No, that's good. Thank you for that. NFC Game Boy?
Well, hey, Steve, my question for you is that with the rise of athletes being a lot smaller now, whereas back in the 80s and 90s they were bigger, bit more like bodybuilder-ish type and everything, what do you think the next generation should add with Ring of Honor bringing in the forefront of that next generation? What is some of the things that you see that is like evolving right now as we speak with the generation of wrestlers and performers?
I believe what you see now is going to be like the hybrid athlete is going to be the wave of the future. The Roderick Strong style, the Bobby Fish, the Kyle O'Reilly, with such a mix of that lean body mass that where a fan can watch it and go, oh, these aren't these steroid users from the 80s. And even if they didn't do the steroids, there was that. There was that. Oh, what's the right word for it? That mystique that these guys were all steroided up. Now they see a Roderick Strong or Kyle O'Reilly or a Matt Taven, and they go, wow, these guys just look like athletes. And they watch UFC, they watch WWE, and they figured out that today's athlete can be bigger than life without being bigger than life. You look at Seth Rollins, you look at Dean Ambrose, guys that are Dolph Ziggler, they're all in great shape, very lean. It's almost like a CrossFit world. So I think that's the wave of the future when it comes to professional wrestlers. And with the MMA mix or the MMA influence of more submissions and the bigger high spots like in Japan, it becomes a lot of fun. Everybody's got to modify their style to a point.
Okay, thank you, Ty.
All right, thank you for that. I want to say before I turn over to Shinblade is your son. How does it feel as a father to watch your son in a ring and actually compete? I know recently we ended up tweeting you on last week, with the angle of Colby being in the ring with Moose, a good buddy of ours, and being in that match. Have you seen how you've seen your son grow in the ring, being a performer, and what advice you gave him?
Oh, you know what? He's wanted to do this since he could walk. Being a pro wrestler has always been his dream. So I don't want to discourage him. I don't think anybody should be discouraged from living out their dreams. And he's been wrestling for a little bit. For years, he was doing a character called American Tiger on the independent, especially in states that have athletic commissions, and you had to be 18, so he'd get away with it that way. Now that he's 18, and Ring of Honor came up with the idea of him to be with the Decade, and he jumped at it. I mean, he's a guy, like, he could have went to Japan earlier this year for 3 months on an excursion, and then he was supposed to go right to England from there. He was going to be on the road for 6 months when the idea of him debuting in Ring of Honor started. So it's for me as a father, I cringe every time he gets hurt, or it gets bumped around and stuff like that, especially wrestling a guy as huge as Moose, who is such a great guy, but that father instinct takes over. So I believe that Colby has enough training and know-how to really, really be a star. And he reminds me of like a young Sami Zayn, with the way that he gets thrown around and gets back up, and he's got this inner toughness. And he was a great amateur wrestler in high school, so he knows his way around the ring. He knows his way around wrestling, and whether it be pro or amateur. So I have that confidence in him, and it's like I said, as a father, it's kind of scary to watch your son do these things in a ring, and because as a wrestler, that the dangers are there, but it's also exciting.
All right, you still there?
Yep.
Okay, I'm sorry, there's a little feedback. Thank you for that. Shinblade?
Well, I gotta say from Steve Corino, I honestly was a novice when it came to knowing about the man himself, Steve Corino, because I was first introduced in 2001 in the last days of ECW. And I heard at a recent Talk is Jericho podcast that in Jericho's view, you were one of the most underrated guys in ECW. Your thoughts about that?
I mean, it's definitely an honor. I don't know if I was underrated or I just took a different direction in my career. You know, at the end of ECW, a lot of guys were going to WWE or you know, attempting to do different things, where I had gone right to Japan and worked in, you know, I had worked in the office. I had done a lot of things over there. ECW closed in January. You know, I debuted in March in Japan and stayed there for 11 years. So it was one of those things where I don't know if underrated or just kind of like, you know, sometimes you fall off the big map because, you know, I didn't get that opportunity to be exposed to the WWE brand, and but you know, I had a heck of a career. So, you know, for Jericho to say underrated, that was quite an honor.
Okay.
All right, thank you for that. I'm sorry, there's a little delay in that, Corino. If you still was active in Ring of Honor right now, you were still a full-fledged competitor like you were at ECW and around the world, who would you feel would be your toughest challenge to go against in Ring of Honor today?
Oh, there's so many. I mean, there's not like a bad wrestler on the roster. You know, of course, if I was in the ring, in Ring of Honor, I would be probably going nose to nose with BJ Whitmer week in and week out. But you know, I would test myself against guys that I never got the chance to wrestle before. I never got to wrestle Matt Taven when I was active in-ring competitor. I never got to wrestle Bobby Fish, you know. So I would want guys that I've never been, you know, in the ring with before. I'm trying to think Hanson from War Machine. There's so many good wrestlers that are coming up now that I would love to, you know, if I was still active, and I won't be because, you know, I'll wrestle on the independents and stuff like that, but, you know, I really enjoy the broadcasting side of Ring of Honor, and it's something that, you know, I want to take even further, you know, whether it be baseball or, you know, monster trucks and stuff like that. I believe that, you know, my voice and how I can tell a story and having fun out there, you know, can radiate into different things. And I love the exposure now that we have with Destination America. So, you know, I believe I'm in the right spot. You know, plus I don't get hurt on the weekends now, so I can come home on Sunday and have a family day without, you know, licking my wounds.
Thanks for that. Now, of course, Steve, we gotta ask you the tough questions as we're known here, definitely too. A lot of flack was going around. You know, TNA was on Destination X, and then people were getting upset. The Destination America, now his Ring of Honor. So a lot of people tend to be upset. What are your viewpoints on now Wednesday nights being packed with wrestling, with y'all coming on first on Destination America, and you have TNA following you guys on TV, and you have Lucha Underground NXT. What are your thoughts for that, for a Wednesday night filled with 4 action-packed wrestling shows?
I think it's great for everybody. This is my theory. Like, back in the day, 98, you know, to 2001, when you had the Monday Night Wars and everything, everybody's trying to be number one. Nowadays, I believe because wrestling's changed so much, I look at it as the Wednesday night lineup on NBC full of comedy. You know, they're all comedies, but they're all a little different, and they have something. Same thing with what Ring of Honor, TNA, Lucha Underground, NXT have. They all have great things, and sometimes people can go, "Oh, I like this one. I don't like this one." But there's so many choices, and I believe that's the key of a very, you know, lively business, a very, you know, fulfilling business when you have different choices. You have national groups like Ring of Honor, like TNA, like Lucha Underground. No one's competing against each other. You know, I believe we're all neighbors. You know, we're all, you know, trying to entertain people. It's such a different business than it was in 2000. Now everybody's just, you know, trying to do what's best for the people that they're performing in front of. And for me, I think it's great that on Wednesday nights you have all these choices, and with technology being the way that it is, I mean, you can watch all four if you really want to. To me, wrestling's like pizza. Even when it's not great, it's still pizza, man, and I'll eat it. So I think that the more choices, the better. And with the capabilities with DVRs and streaming and computers and stuff like that, you can tape all four shows and watch them during the week. And yeah, man, I believe it's such a great time for professional wrestling. And add Raw, and you add SmackDown, and you add New Japan Pro Wrestling on Access, and you the streaming of New Japan World. I mean, there's wrestling everywhere, and it's great. This is something that as a kid, I'm 42. As a kid, and you have 3 channels, and you only have one wrestling show, and then all of a sudden you get cable TV and you have 2, and you're like, man, this is the greatest thing ever. Now, you have YouTube, you have Daily Motion, you have Netflix and Hulu and all these great things.
Steve, did I just hear you say Daily Motion?
I think
Yes. Wow. You know what? Big kudos to you, Steve, because me and Shen and NSC Game Boy talked about how Daily Motion is a great tool to watch wrestling. So many people that it seems like they don't know about it, or it's like a lost archive. Daily Motion is great, and you are the first person and the first worker, even of the boys that ever mentioned Daily Motion on the show.
I watch it every once in a while. I see a link and I'm like, oh, I got to click on it. It's funny. Daily Motion was in my mind because yesterday somebody had sent me a link of Colby at 6 years old beating up Shinjiro Otani and Masato Tanaka in Japan, and I'm like, oh wow, Daily Motion, and there's so much great stuff on there. Sometimes stuff that you don't see on YouTube because of the copyright stuff, So it's there's so many great outlets.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. Now, before I turn over the Game Boy, Steve, how do you think, if the internet was prevalent back when you were in ECW and working in Japan, for 01, do you think that would have helped your career out, or do you think it would have damaged it if you had all of this access of media that you could have had back in the 90s?
No, I think I don't think anything hurts. Like, people will say, like, well, the secrets of wrestling are out and stuff like that. I think the secrets of everything is out. It's a digital world, so I don't think it would have hurt me, at all, because unlike back in the 70s and the 80s when the territories were running 5 nights a week and there was only TV in one town, so you could do the same match over and over and over again. We didn't have that luxury in ECW. We didn't have that luxury in Japan because of it would get around. So nowadays, and I look at Ring of Honor, for example. We run the live events, and the TV, and everything has to kind of go together. And I look at Hunter Johnston, and I think, man, what a great job he's doing keeping the main storylines on the house shows so that people don't think that they're just seeing a showcase. Sometimes you go to a wrestling show and it's just a showcase. Not that it's bad, but it's not, if you missed it, it won't affect your day. Where Ring of Honor, we try to put on the best house show possible so that you're seeing something that you might not see on TV or in another town. So I think the more media outlets, the more everybody gets to be more creative and figure out a way to suspend everybody's disbelief. And, hey, it's like Christmas. It's like Santa Claus, Santa Claus isn't on the up and up, but every year we find different ways to celebrate and keep the Christmas spirit alive. So I think it's professional wrestling. Everybody, everybody's being innovative and trying new ways to, freshen everything up so that people keep coming and having a great time.
I like that. You sound like such a good guy, Steve, but so brutal in the ring.
I know, right? My wife, she gets upset. If I'm a heel somewhere, she doesn't want to go because she's like, do they know that you change the baby's diapers at home? I'm like, no, dear, we're not supposed to, you know. So,
kayfabe.
Yeah.
Like Mrs. Corino, kayfabe. No one's supposed to.
Yeah.
And then again, kayfabe is dead now. I guess with the internet and everything. Everything's out.
Yeah.
Gotta go with NFC Game Boy.
When you went to Japan,
okay.
when you went to Japan and you started working, your first match, how did it feel being in front of the Japanese crowd instead of being in front of the extreme crowd that you was used to back in ECW? What was the mind state of when you first arrived there?
Well, see, I was always a Japanese fan growing up. New Japan Pro Wrestling, All Japan Pro Wrestling. I'm a huge fan. I used to be a trader where, you know, back in the day with VHS tapes, you'd find somebody, you know, usually mail order, and, you know, you would send them tapes and they would send you tapes. So I was always either trading or buying All Japan and New Japan tapes. So I knew what to expect, you know, how the crowd was going to react and stuff like that. But, you know, until you step in the ring and you look at the culture and you think like, man, I'm in a foreign country and I'm doing this, and, you know, I'm wrestling against Tajiro Otani across the ring, who, you know, I was watching in the Super Junior tournament in '92, and it was a little mind blowing at first, and then that first time that Otani slapped me across the face, I woke up and I said, whoa, okay, now it's down to business. But
right.
You know, I think like you're just learning the Japanese culture, what works, what doesn't work, and getting used to that was such a great learning experience. So that, you know, I took it and I used it to be successful for 79 tours.
Now, of course, you know, Steve, we have another call. It might be your son. You know, we can have both of you on here at the same time if you like. You know, we were at Water World. We were at Water Worlds, night one in Philly at the old ECW arena. Of course, the arena, a lot of legendary things happened in it. Every time you walk in that arena, Steve, what is the first thing that pops in your mind, or first memory that comes to your mind while being in there?
My first thought is, man, let me drop my stuff off and go to Tony Luke's for a cheesesteak. That's always my first thought when I walk into the arena. For me, the arena was a place to work. It wasn't my favorite place, and it was just funny because I had lived 45, 50 minutes away from the arena, you know, most of my adult life. So I don't know, like I loved it. I loved, you know, being there and stuff like that, but it wasn't my favorite. Like, you know, even to this day, you know, I think, okay, it was cool that I got to be here and do stuff, but for me in ECW, I loved the Odeon Theater in Chicago. That was just an amazing place to wrestle. And then, you know, there was Club Taboo in Orlando that we used to have some great shows at, or the War Memorial in Fort Lauderdale. So I think a lot of people have their favorites, but also I grew up in the Philadelphia area. So for me as a kid growing up, the Philadelphia Civic Center was the mecca for me, because I was an NWA fan, and, you know, my buddies were WWF fans, and they would come to the Philadelphia Spectrum, and the NWA would come to the Philadelphia Civic Center. So to me, the Civic Center was that was the arena that I always wanted to be in. So, I mean, I was so fortunate and honored to be in the ECW arena, and now, you know, just the 2300 arena. I still think it's a great place to see wrestling and stuff like that, but just like every building, you know, once that music comes on, once those lights come on, man, I'm just excited to be there.
It's great place to be in. We've heard so much about the arena, of course, but it was not my first time being in Philly. I've been in Philly a good number of times, but first time I've been actually in that arena, and just to think of all the legendary matches and incidents that's happened in that arena, definitely felt good to be there.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's definitely something every wrestling fan should experience too.
Now, was it always hot in that arena like it was?
Oh
we
man,
were there?
So hot. I mean, during the summer, it was worse. That first night though, War of the Worlds. Oh my goodness, I wore the wrong suit for that day. Man, I was drenched in sweat afterwards. But yeah, I mean, there were times when we would run it in August, and, you know, it was smelly and the toilets would be backed up and it'd be, 100 in hell in there, and you just went out and did it, and then drank 3 gallons of water when you got back to the locker room, just to replenish. But man, that's one of the hottest buildings I've ever been in.
Man. NFC Game Boy. And just to let you know, call it the 910 area code. Please hold tight. We're going to bring you in about the next 5 minutes. Go ahead, NFC.
My last question to you is really just your opinion on this. By you going to Japan and coming back and having that vast knowledge in the ring, do you think that wrestlers nowadays should take a trip to Japan to better their craft, or do you think they should just continue staying in America and whatever federations or independents that they're in? I've talked to certain wrestlers. Most wrestlers say they should, but some wrestlers have actually told me they think that they shouldn't do it because they don't think they can handle it. So I just want to know your opinion on it. Should wrestlers take that trip, or do you think they should stay at home?
No, I think every wrestler should get out there as much as possible. One of the greatest parts of this job is to travel the world. And there's so many different styles out there, whether it be Japan, whether it be Mexico, whether it be Puerto Rico, England. There's so many different styles, and it's such a big world that you want to go out there and be worldly. You want to learn every style that you can because it's only going to make you better in the long run. I totally believe that. And you look at now NXT, and you look at the head trainers, and both of them have tons of experience, not just in the WWE machine, but both Matt and Sarah, they traveled the world. They've been to England, they've been to Japan, and so that they can teach all these young guys that maybe that they're signing right off the boat that, hey, you know what, you might not be able to go to Japan right now or go to England, but we're going to teach you this way. So it's almost like getting there. But I also believe that you get to experience the different cultures, the different fans, and the different local wrestlers. I believe that everybody should take a chance and do it because you're only going to get better. I've never seen anybody take trips to England or to Japan and come back worse than they were. So the more you can get out there, the more experience, the more confidence, the more ring time, it's just going to add to your ability.
Well, thank you, Steve. I greatly appreciate
that. Thanks for that. And before we let you go, Steve, I'm going to turn it over with the last question, Shinblade.
I just wanted to say that being a father and being a wrestler at the same time, do you find it more difficult nowadays to travel having a family, or was it more so like back in the day when you were coming up in the world of wrestling?
You know what? I find it now, at my age now, much harder. When I was younger and Colby was younger and I was going back and forth to Japan, I was, home 2 weeks, away 2 weeks. And, he understood. So it was one of those things where, like, he grew up into it, where it's now with an 18-month-old and a wife, it's harder to go away because I've done everything that I've wanted to do in professional wrestling, and I've had a successful in-ring career, and so now it's like, okay, I want to be home and live my life and stuff like that. But yeah, it's definitely tougher now than it was. It's definitely tougher now than it was earlier in my career. But now, with Colby and I working in the same company, I mean that's like a dream come true. I tweeted about it a couple weeks ago. I said, man, if you would have told me 18 years ago I'd be sitting in a hotel room in Oklahoma City watching my son wrestle on television, I tell you were crazy. So, to be in the same company now is, it's quite, it's a dream come true.
For real. That's good.
All right. Also,
real quick, Corino, before we let you go, we're going to bring in our co-correspondent, Toph. Toph, you there?
Hey, guys.
Hey, buddy. Hey. You're live with Steve Corino.
Hey, Mr. Corino. I'm a big fan of your work. I just have one question for you because this is just, funny. My mom was able to finally watch Ring of Honor for the first time because you guys are on Destination America. She hates watching stuff on computers. So she watched you and Mr. Kevin Kelly, and she asked me a question, and I wanted to ask you a question. Could you please explain to me your obsession with Adam Cole and super kicks? Because she just thinks it's the funniest thing ever.
Well, come on,
Mama
you got to have eyesight if you want to know the obsession with Adam Cole. I mean, he was in my wedding, for goodness sake. I mean, we're close. I mean, he doesn't want the relationship or the friendship to get out into the public, because he's got a public perception and stuff like that. He's my buddy. And think about it. I mean, he's the best looking guy ever. I mean, if it was the '80s, he'd be Tom Selleck. And super kick, greatest move ever. I mean, look at the Young Bucks. They sell T-shirts with super kick party, and so I get excited. I love wrestling, and I love different personalities and stuff like that. So the super kicks and Adam Cole, and even when Adam Cole hits a super kick, where I yell Cole, it makes my job fun.
Okay, well, I just wanted to tell you that I think that you and Kevin are the best commentary team out there today.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks. So we're gonna stay on the line. Go ahead, Chimblade. We're gonna end it off with Steve Corino.
Well, also Steve Corino will be in Baltimore on June 13th for EWA, Eastern Wrestling Association. Him and his son. Doors open at 7:00. Show starts at 7:30, maybe 8:00. Come see Steve Corino and his son. Shake hands and don't get on the super kick party.
Exactly. Just let you know, Steve, that there's fans just tweeting me now and texting me about super kick party and about Steve you marking out for super kicks.
I love super kicks. Everybody in Baltimore come out. I may throw one. I love it.
Well, you know what, Steve, Under the Mat Radio, we'll be there this Saturday, so we'll be able to talk with you a lot more, and we're definitely looking forward to this Saturday.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, buddy,
thanks a lot, Steve. Take care.
Thank you, Steve.
You too. Bye-bye.
Hey, everybody, that was the king of old school, former ECW and NWA World Heavyweight Champion, Steve Corino. Right now, we're going to bring in our next guest, area code 910. Welcome to Under the Mat Radio.
Hey guys, how you doing? It's Colby.
You doing good? Now, man. Everybody, welcome the son of Steve Corino, Mr. Colby Corino, the American Tiger. How you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you guys doing?
We're doing good.
Good. Thanks, man.
Good. Well, we thank you for holding. I know we know you had to hold. Your father was on the line. Your father didn't really talk much of you. He said you're a man. Y'all don't live together, so. Now, the tide turns to you, Colby. Thank you for calling in.
Of course, no problem. My pleasure.
We want to start off, of course, this past week, on Ring of Honor, we texted about it. You went face-to-face with our good old buddy Moose. You slapped Moose in the face. And it didn't fare too well for you, man. You got thrown on an apron. You got thrown around. What are your words on that?
I just got to pay my dues. Like, I knew what I was getting into when going in there, but I was confident in my ability that I could put up a good fight, and I think I did. I think I held up pretty good to a 6'5", 300-pound NFL linebacker, or lineman, rather.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you have heart. You definitely have heart, and you are very tough. So, not too many men really gonna walk up in Moose's face and slap him.
Yeah, not many people are as tough as I am.
Yeah, they're there. I mean, it's in your genes. Look at your father's legendary career, and they're your offspring, and there you go. Definitely gotta be tough. Shinblade, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Gonna turn it over to you, Shin.
Well, it's great meeting you, Colby, in Philadelphia, same night for War of the Worlds. The Tech and NSC Game Boy was talking about your supposed paying dues with Moose, but you basically made me cringe when I saw I think it was the Night 2 portion of War of the Worlds, when you took a German suplex from the floor from Kushida. Kushida, but Watanabe. That was Watanabe, and I was so concerned because you fell on your neck. And
yeah,
you know, like Beck says, you have heart and everything. But man, how much are the boys paying you at the decade with B.J. Whitmer and Adam Page?
They're paying me an experience and knowledge to help me become a star. They're trying to build me up, and that's better than any payment they could pay me.
All right. I hear that.
All right. And it's a Game Boy?
Well, Colby, my question for you is slightly different than what my colleagues are speaking. By you growing up in a wrestling family with your father being successful across seas and stuff, when is it that you found where you wanted to really be in wrestling? I know your father stated that you've been doing it since you was about, I think, 6, 7 years old. But usually, we have dreams, and then when we get older, our dreams also, we might find another passion. But when is it, what age or what moment when you can really realize when you looked at yourself in the mirror and was like, I really want to be a professional wrestler?
I used to watch wrestling since I was 2 weeks old, and I was always around it. I always wanted to be a wrestler. But the moment I can pick out that was I want to do this was I was watching Davey Richards versus Eddie Edwards at Ring of Honor. It was on one of the HD Net tapings for the inaugural TV title tournament. And I watched that match, and I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to be here, and I want to do what they're doing.
Wow. Great match, by the way. I remember that. Thank you very much for answering my question. Tech, back to you.
No problem.
Thank you. We turn over to Shimblade Toph.
No, I got a question.
Okay.
Go ahead, Toph.
Hey, Colby. My question is, I'm not sure if you're allowed to answer, but I like the formula of what's going on with the decade and the storyline about how your dad is a commentator and how the decade could recruit anybody, but they recruit, Corino's son, which is you and stuff. I think it's really kind of a old school sort of feud. My question is, do you have any type of creative ideas in it, or is it just BJ and your father, or is it just a creative thing? Was this your idea, or whose idea was it, if you're allowed to say?
Well, actually, it was BJ's idea. But creatively, we all pitch in, me, BJ, Adam. We all throw in our ideas and for the storylines.
Oh, okay.
All right. Now, B.J. Whitmer, Colby, talks all the time about finding him a new young boy. What actually defines a young boy? What makes a person be able to be with B.J. Whitmer?
You gotta train every day. You gotta go to the gym. You gotta work out. You gotta go to wrestling practice. You gotta when it's show days, you gotta carry their bags into the building. You gotta put their boots on and lace them up. You gotta do everything. You're basically their bitch.
Oh. Hey. Seems like it don't take much. You just gotta be a yes man to be with them, huh?
No, it's a little bit more than a yes man, but yeah.
Like an advanced yes man.
Exactly.
All right. Now, Colby, there's a lot of challenges in Ring of Honor. You went up against Moose. You weren't successful. Is there anybody in Ring of Honor you won't slap in their face or challenge them, or will you take on all comers?
I'll take on anybody. I mean, I thought I made a statement with that, picking the biggest guy in the locker room and just teeing off on him. But, yeah, I'm not afraid of anybody in the locker room. I'll take on anybody.
Oh, man. Tennessee Game Boy, your response to this?
Well, I think that's a very courageous and a very smart thing to be and to think, because, by you being ready for all challengers, you're never surprised, first of all, and secondly, that's how you make a name for yourself in any form of sports. You always go after, the biggest dog in the yard, or, the highest one on the chain. That's the most memorable thing to do. So I commend you on that. It takes not just a lot of heart, but a lot of preparation, because the backdraft is that you have to win. The person going against you, they don't really have to win. They already know, but you have to win. So you always pushing yourself. Which actually this leads me to my question. So far in your career, what can you say has been your greatest achievement so far that you've seen yourself in your professional wrestling career?
I mean, my greatest achievement actually just came last week. I'm the youngest person to ever wrestle on Ring of Honor television.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that point's been made. It's been made. Yeah.
Well, I know it's an achievement. I didn't know it was his greatest one so far. That's why.
I'd say that was my biggest one.
That's a great achievement.
Thanks.
So, congratulations. I mean, you're on TV right now, so yeah, that's great. And lastly, to add on to that question, what is an achievement that you're really searching to or sorting after? What is an achievement that you really want to get your hands on, that you've been praying for, hoping for?
Well, now that I'm in Ring of Honor, I really want to go out to California and wrestle for PWG. I just feel like that's like the best talent of all the indies just put together, and it really mean a lot to me to be a part of that show.
Oh, okay.
Right. Now,
right.
Colby,
Thank you.
One of our workers, Afrocentric Queen, just sent me a message, and she said she wanted you to know that she felt bad about how Boots beat you up, but she commends you on taking on the big man.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
so,
hot.
Well, thank you.
Do you feel bad that so many people you're getting a lot of sympathy from a lot of people because the way you look and the way Moose looks really doesn't mesh well. You really don't look like a threat to him, but you still had the heart to slap him and give him your all. So do you feel upset that a lot of people are giving you sympathy, or do you feel proud?
I'm not upset they're giving me sympathy, but I'm not looking for it either. I just want to show them what I have to offer, and I want to put everything on the line every time I go out there.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Now I'm gonna ask.
Who doesn't feel like they should respect Colby after taking it from Moose and Watanabe? I mean, who needs to prove that Colby needs to go through more? I mean, not to take from NSC Game Boy, but he is the boy of the decade. He's paying the dues, and I was trying to say pause when Tech was talking about Colby being the boy. It just doesn't sound right to me, but I guess it's
it's okay, Sean.
I guess it's just something in the business.
Now, we want to mention this to you too, Colby. What happens if it comes a time when you, Colby, have to go one-on-one in the ring with your father, the great Steve Corino? Will you slap your father in the face? Will you
I'll slap him in the face, tie him into a pretzel. I ain't worried about him.
Daddy gonna take you to the woodshed.
Hey, that's
like
a great way to think of it.
So like Shin said, Colby, you're saying you're going to take your dad to the woodshed. It's not going to be the other way around.
Oh, yeah.
No,
I'm 18 years old. I'm in my prime. He's on the way down the hill. I definitely have the advantage right now.
Wow.
We're making news now.
Hey, only thing I can say is just wow. I like the fact that that's the mindset you got to have, and especially in this sport, you have to think that and have to know, that you can be any person on the planet. Anybody that if you step in the ring with me, I have to deal with you. So.
Oh yeah, exactly. The first step of losing is accepting your loss. You gotta always be on the right mindset.
Yes, that's half the battle.
Well, put Colby in the ring with Michael Elgin.
Oof.
Well, yeah, that's.
I'm not sure. I might need a little bit more training before that one, but I ain't afraid of him either.
Wait a minute, Colby. You got a little case of the Libertarian now. You just said earlier that you will accept all challenges. And now that Shin said that for you to go against Michael Elgin, you refute and now say you need more training for that?
Oh, no, I'll take him on, but I might not win, though. I mean, he's a pretty big dude.
So you'll win against your dad, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're positive you'll win against Daddy Corino, but you're not positive you'll beat Michael Elgin.
Come on, son.
Pretty much. Pretty close.
So, in other words, Michael Elgin, in your mind, Kobe, is more of a threat and more of a challenge to you than the old Pops.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Oh, man. All right.
Kobe, how about them boys, the Briscoes?
Yeah, how you feel about the Briscoes?
Mark? Chicken?
They're some crazy guys, but again, I'm not afraid of them, but I'll take them on, but I'm not confident that I'll beat them.
He's shivering. His voice is shivering.
I don't think he's shivering. I don't think he's shivering. I think he's
shivering.
think he's excited.
It's too hot in my room to be shivering.
Yeah, I think it's excitement. He's looking for that next challenge. And even though he knows he may lose, at least he's going to get the respect. And sometimes that's all it takes is to get the respect before you get the win. So
I might not win every fight I'm in, but I'm ready to go straight into it with everything I got.
Well, next time we see Colby Corino, we may see him be big shot against Cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Oh,
what about Cheeseburger? Maybe ACH.
Yeah, I was about to ask you about Cheeseburger because the beating you took by Moose reminded me of like Cheeseburger when he was first starting. I don't know if you thought about working with him or if you guys could potentially be a tag team, like the Underdog tag team.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't want him as my tag team partner. That's
there'll be more Underdog. Than,
not with him. Not with his win-loss record.
There'll be more Underdog than ACH and Seidel. So.
Oh yeah.
Well, Kobe, we will see you this Saturday, live at EWA with your father, Steve Corino, who basically you just said you'll pretty much make him you'll relax his back in the ring. So we'll cover more of this on Saturday, Kobe. How you feel about that?
Sounds great to me.
All right then.
Kobe, before we let you go, is there anything that you want to plug or promote before we let you go?
You can follow me on Twitter at @Generation_8 and head over to Pro Wrestling Tees/PWF Wrestling to pick up my new T-shirts. Just put two new ones up. They're pretty awesome, if I do say so myself. So go buy like 8 of them.
There you go, Shane. Go buy like 8 of them.
No. I want to see him against Elgin first.
Oh yeah, we're gonna see the Colby against Elgin. Yeah.
You should beat him and then put one of your shirts, like lay one of your shirts on in the middle of the ring.
Yeah, you should do that.
See?
You like that?
I will. I'll bring one just to put over him as a body bag.
There you go. See? That's what you call it.
Strong words from a great guy. Kobe, thank you much, buddy. The American Tiger, Colby Corino, everybody. And we will see you
guys.
See you this Saturday, EWA.
See you on Saturday.
All right, man.
Thanks, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Hey, everybody, that was Colby Corino, the American Tiger, NSC Game Boy. Shinblade seemed to think that Colby was a little shaken, and you feel he was a little excited.
Yeah, I feel that he was a little excited. I can understand his nervousness, but when you have the goals to go against one of the biggest stars of the company and smack him on live TV, I don't think it's much nervousness left in him. That's not only fans would do it, but there's guys in the locker room that won't even do that. And he went and did it. You got to respect that. Whether it was smart, well, that's another story. But you got to at least respect it, though.
Always respect the man for his heart. Definitely. Real quick, just want to let everybody know that, of course, this Saturday, as Shin mentioned, live, June 13th, June 13th, EWA presents Summer by Summer Sizzler. Of course, special guest, as we mentioned, is Ring of Honor's the great Steve Corino, and who you just heard from, his son, the American Tiger Colby Corino. Don't forget, bell time will be at 7:30 p.m. It is at the Tall Cedars Hall, 2502 Putty Hill Avenue, Parkville, Maryland. Any questions about location, please go to the EWA page on Facebook. Coming up, as always, matches that are announced. You will see DOD, Lance and BJ Walker, of course, will be going against, yes, Baby Rock as people call them, will be going against the tag team champions, John Berg and JD Bam Bam Browning. This will be for the tag team championships of EWA. Also, don't forget, it will be a triple threat match. Michael Zamadio, very interesting guy, versus Wes Mercer and Colby Corino.
All right.
Also, you will see, if I'm correct, the I Quit match with the EWA Heavyweight Championship. T-Bad, TJ Sykes, will defend his championship against challenger Desert Storm. This match will be very intense, will not be for kids at all. Also, don't forget, Apollo Crews will be joining, Chris Burns, and other great stars of EWA. Under the Mat Radio will be there live, and we hope to see you this Saturday. Also, Lightskin Ross will be there. Of course, Lightskin Ross, shout out to you. He can't really talk.
That's the head nod.
A lot of head nods and thumbs up, right?
He just did.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, of course, switching gears. Right now, momentarily waiting for our buddy Ja Cole to be calling in. But we're approaching the hour of a tribute to a good friend, a fallen friend who went to be home, passed away this Sunday morning, Reggie Rivers, otherwise known as Prodigy. All of the boys that are listening, anybody that wants to call in to give a brief memory of Reggie, please call in at the number 347-677-1862. The number again is 347-677-1862. We all have memories of Reggie. Of course, our show is not for kids at all, so don't be afraid to say whatever you have to say. But on behalf of Under the Mat Radio, on behalf of Under the Mat Communications LLC, me, Aztec, and we only use our real names on serious occasions like this, as Evan Prout, otherwise known as Tech, as George Burkett, as NSC Game Boy, as Shin Blade, speaking for RQ, Saltine, for Kim, Afrocentric Queen, Babe Mel, Princess Pete, Southern Belle, all of our affiliates are Under the Mat Radio. Want to send our deepest condolences and our prayers to the Rivers family. We definitely do. With that being said, we have a caller, area code 404. Welcome.
Hello? What up?
Yes, area code 404.
404, this is your boy Ja Cole, Black Star. What's going on, Under the Mat fam?
Ja, what it is, man?
Ooh. What's going on, man?
What's happening?
Things are good, man, but they could have been better.
Yeah, first of all, it's definitely a big loss to the whole community. My boy Reggie Rivers, he taught me a lot coming up in the game. As a friend, a brother. I learned a lot from him, and it's definitely just a really big, unexpected, thing that happened. But as life goes on, we just gonna have to learn to deal with it. But I learned a lot from him, man. I used to look up to him, and learn from him and watch him. He gave me a lot of ideas. Like he used to tell me all the time, like, "Hey, man, you're a Rastafarian, man. You need to make sure when you come out there that your hair is, out there, like you waving your hair, swinging your hair, and all that, So he always give me like ideas to make myself better, and this kind of business, that's kind of rare where somebody tell you some shit that's actually going to benefit you. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
Definitely just a big shout out to him and his family, the whole wrestling community, ACW, his sons, you know, his father and everybody else, man, you know, we definitely can't let him be forgotten because he was definitely there for us and for me especially, and anybody else. I remember when my boy, you know, he got shot. You already know who that is. He got shot, and Reggie was one of the first people